Well, it's a good morning from him, and it's a good morning from me. Hello, welcome everybody to Paul Archer. That's me. My mortgage live stream. I hope you're well. I hope you're not too hot since last week. This time last week, Monday, we didn't do a live stream because it was just too hot. It was 40 degrees, and we just don't cope in that temperature here in the UK. If you're listening to this podcast or this live stream from somewhere that's you're quite good with the heat, then you're probably having a laugh, aren't you? But there we go. We're okay with that. But we need to get used to the hot weather as we move forward, aren't we? So welcome to our mortgage live stream, the updates, which go online, shall we? We're streaming down to YouTube and Vimeo and Facebook as well, I believe. So all is well. I hope you're all good. I hope you're enjoying your summer. Maybe you're on holiday, maybe you're not. Maybe you're just getting used to the roads being less busy as they are, unless you're on the M5, of course, going down to Cornwall. Anyway, enough of that. Let's give you a couple of topics this morning or this afternoon, as you might say. The first one I want to talk about is what's going on in the mortgage market. Well, a lot of people talk about interest rates at the moment. Interest rates are bubbling upwards, as you very well know, because of inflation and all sorts of issues. And I saw a press advertisement, I think it was a social media post or something. Probably with the online press and the online social media is they try and get your attention. And the only way to get your attention is to become alarmist, BBC style. And there was one that said, mortgage rates doubling. And I'm like, well, it went from 1% to 2%, which is doubling, but it's not exactly a really big increase. And of course, interest rates themselves are on their way up. Of course they are. Is it a problem? No, it's not a major problem because interest rates have been high in the past. They have. I was running a seminar the other week to some guys and girls learning mortgages, learning CMAP, etc. And we were talking about interest rates. And I said to them on the course, I said, who was around? I said, in the business pre-crash. And it was before 2008 when we had the financial crash. And they said, no, Paul, I was 10, they said to me. I was more interested in S Club 7 than I was in mortgage rates, which is probably fair enough. But that's the point, you see. The memory of a lot of mortgage advisors, mortgage brokers, doesn't extend before the crash, when interest rates, of course, were high. Since the crash, interest rates have been rocked down below completely for 14, 15 years now. But they were higher, and the mortgage market worked. In fact, if you go back to 2003 thereabouts, when 2004, when before the crash, the mortgage market was buzzing. People were buying properties more than they are now. More mortgages were being lent out than ever before, even compared to now. And interest rates were 5, 6, or 6.5%, 7% sometimes. But people still took them out. The point about interest rates, though, is yes, as rates go up, people's mortgages will become more expensive. But for the last few years, they've been ridiculously cheap compared to renting or something like that. And people get used to that. And that's something people have to become unused to it, really. The days of cheap borrowing have gone. Cheap borrowing, of course, means that people can borrow money, businesses can borrow money at tiny percents. Those days have gone now. We're looking at higher rates, etc., etc. I mean, startups, for example, will have to start making profits from now on. They can't be crowdfunded or funded via private equity anymore, because private equity can get better rates elsewhere now. So the whole world is changing. We need to embrace that, really. It's all quite normal for higher interest rates. That's the point I'm making. And if inflation carries on upwards, okay, I get it. But inflation, of course, reduces debt. So if somebody takes out a mortgage and it's high inflation for a number of years, the debt comes down. So look at these aspects when you're talking to customers about interest rates and inflation, because your customer may not be used to high interest rates. So just tell them that it has happened in the past, and you can reassure them, can't you? Okay, that's an update for you on interest rates. Let's get on to my major topic today, which is something for lessons for mortgage advisors, mortgage brokers, financial advisors, all of you guys operating in the market now, equity release advisors, whatever you're dealing with, because it connects with heating, or overheating, as I call it, because, as you know, of course, well, the topic I'm talking about is, are you overheating? So let's just put that up on the board for you. Is that the one? Are you overheating? I want to talk about here. So let's just pop that up here. Are you, here you go, overheating? Now, last week, as we know, there you go, let's put that up there for you, question mark, are you overheating? Last week, as you know, we had record temperatures, 40 degrees in 36 places in the UK. And down here in Cheltenham, we were languishing at 38 degrees. It was just ridiculously hot. It was too much. People were burning up, and it was just too much for our little country to cope with. So what actually happened then? Well, we think about it. Everybody was overheating. Now, the question I'm asking, are you, though, overheating at work? In your role as a mortgage advisor, financial advisor, wealth advisor, wealth manager, equity lease advisor, are you just working too many hours? Are you working too much? Are you doing everything in your business? Are you spinning too many plates at any given time? Are you? I've seen it. Are you posting family pictures on LinkedIn with the quote saying, "This is why I work as hard as I do"? You know, pictures of your kids, which is lovely. We've all been there, but because you're working so hard, all the hours, having a week off with the kids means you can relax. And the reason for doing what you're doing is because of your kids. I get that. I've had kids myself, but it's probably a sign that you're overheating, and that's a serious message. That because if you're overheating in business, it can mean that you'll burn out. You'll get stressed, depressed, whatever you want to call it, but you'll burn out. Burnout is a bit more a macho word, isn't it, for stress? But and it'll happen, and unless you're careful, it could happen and cause issues. Okay, come back to that in a minute. Now, Shelley and I went for a meal on Friday night. We live in Cheltenham, as you know, and we can walk into town, which is great. And we went to Coates, which is a French restaurant. I love Coates, really lovely restaurant, really good quality food. The food is always the same. So really, really lovely restaurant. But the problem with Coates is they're designed, their business model is to serve you. You know, you go in there and you get taken to your table and you sit down and you get looked after. You get served and everything's lovely. Until, of course, restaurants overheat, like all things in the economy. They're all overheating. Restaurants, bars, airlines, the ports at Dover and the Channel Tunnel last week were overheating because they were just too busy. And restaurants, Cheltenham is no different to any other town, are struggling to get staff. And they had two guys there, a boy and a girl, lovely people, really good, just running around doing all the serving. There was about 60, 70 covers, I guess, in the restaurant. And they had people, on trays bringing the food out from the kitchen and putting food on. But they weren't serving. They weren't like doing the restauranting. These two guys were rushing to the front entrance to greet people, rushing to tables. They were dripping with sweat. And I felt really sorry for them as well. And that's great because they were working. But the problem is, of course, they were overheating as a business. And if they carried on like that, those two people who are probably not paid a huge amount of money would probably just give up and go and do something else. Again, in your business as a mortgage broker, are you overheating? Because essentially, mortgage broking is a cottage industry. There's lots and lots of little 1-2 person bands or one man bands, woman bands, we can call it, operating. So we are prone to overheating. Now, Coates, of course, I was talking to Shelley about it afterwards, the following day. Coates should change things unless they can get more staff in, which actually is not the right answer nowadays anyway. What they should be doing is automating, is cutting the workload of those two waiter staff. So very quickly, what they could do, of course, is they could automate the menu. Now, we had a nice menu. It was on their website, which is pretty much the only automation they've got. And the menu was there. It's not an extensive menu. And they could have just given us a tablet on the table or something, or a machine. And I said, McDonald's do it. We could have just tapped in what we wanted. We didn't have to have a waiter come up and write it on a little pad, whatever they do. So that's the first thing they could have done to automate. They could have had a vending machine at the bar for the most popular wines, the most popular beers, maybe red wine or white wine or whatever it is. You push the button, put in your table number, and it pours the wine for you. It's not a problem to do that. And a lot of people would be quite happy to go and get their drink that way if there wasn't a huge queue and it wasn't a bit of a kerfuffle. They could have had robot servers. You've seen those on these pictures in Japan and places. Little robots come out with the food, don't they? It's not like a a picture of a robot like lost in space, like this, with the tray on like this. No, that's not a robot. That's ridiculous. Now, a robot is a machine, like a sort of a fridge, I guess, size of a fridge. It's on wheels, and you've got trays in there, and it wheels across to your table, and your tray comes out, and you just help yourself. They could do that, take a bit more money, but they could do that if they wanted to. Now, therefore, the two waiters could then spend their time looking after you, waiting upon you, helping you, greeting you, helping you order your menu if you need to, or helping you get your wine if you wanted to, or even getting a glass of wine for you. The waiters would have time to do it. Now, there is the message. And it's quite a serious message as well, because as a mortgage broker, you can and possibly should be doing the same thing. So give me a few ideas, give you what you could do if you found yourself overheating. It's serious stuff, this as well. You need to think about some of these ideas. The first thing, if you are finding yourself overheating, is get some tech in to do the heavy lifting. Hardware and software, call it what you like, it's tech, isn't it? The first thing you need to be doing is getting a decent CRM system, software system that captures customers. You've all got them, I know, some better than others. Now, this CRM system captures customers. It also takes you on the customer journey. So everything you do with the customer, all the fact finds and meetings, etc., is all captured as well. And of course, it links into lender submission as well. So you don't have to retype or resubmit any text because it's done all at once. If you get something decent, spend a few pennies on that, then that will save you an awful lot of time. Now, within that, of course, within the CRM system, you will have some kind of fact find software. So you can do your fact finding on the system, just key it all in, and it submits all the data to the lenders, etc. But there's nothing wrong with you looking at the fact finding and maybe automating that as well. There's nothing wrong with maybe putting that onto an app and letting your client complete it. Okay, I know a lot of the selling is done in the fact finding. I've been a broker for years, I do know that. But there's also a lot of boring data gathering, which the client can quite happily do. And that's not a difficult thing to do for them if they really feel up to it. So just get an app on their mobile phone, they can key it in very easily. If you wanted to get really clever with the fact finding, you could certainly link that to social in ways. You can use all sorts of connection softwares as well, APPs and all sorts of things they call it, don't they, where your fact find software can talk to the social media so that people's data which is out there can be automatically harvested and put into your fact find. There's software that does that now. So you take somebody's Facebook profile, their LinkedIn profile, their Instagram profile. Well, it's all public, isn't it? YouTube possibly. All your software does is just goes online and scrapes all this data. You can get all of that. It saves you a massive amount of time. Costs you a few quid to investigate it. You might have to pay a bit more money for the software, but they're all doing it as much as possible. So that's something that you could do as a mortgage broker. A couple other ideas for you. Sourcing engines are another thing as well. A lot of brokers ask me about sourcing engines. Now, sourcing engine, as you know, is something that you use, there you go, let's put that in for you, to source the lender for you, or source the mortgage for you. But I still find a lot of brokers on the phone to BDMs, on the phone to lenders, broker help desks, trying to fit the case, trying to get them to squeeze this, squeeze that, change that, adapt it. The sourcing engine just gives them a few ideas in which they then spend hours on the phone trying to place the case. And that's fine, because that's what a broker does. But you can upgrade your sourcing engines so that you don't just search for interest rates. There's all sorts of ones you can use. Legal & General got a really good one, which is free. Why not? Smart criteria, I think it's called. But it searches for criteria as opposed to just interest rates and stuff like that. So that's one to look at as well. Obviously, you've got your 27 Tech. These are good things. I think it's, how do they spell it? 27 Tech. Odd way of spelling it, really, isn't it? There you go. Need to sort that out. But these are good sourcing engines, which will save you time. So ultimately, of course, this information goes in the sourcing engine, that finds the lender for you. You press the button, no need to resubmit data. It all then gets sent to the lender, who will then process it for you as well. It's up to them what they do. That's just ideas, isn't it? Paper, If you've got paper, get rid of it. You shouldn't be having paper in your business. You shouldn't. If you get paper, just quickly scan it in and shred it. Scan it, get yourself a decent scanner if you have to scan everything that comes into your business, PDF it and shred it. And then, of course, you can put all your paper in the cloud, and you can then adopt cloud computing. So all your data's in the cloud. You don't have a filing cabinet or anything ridiculous like that, do you? It's all in the cloud. Your software's in the cloud. Pay for your software by a monthly subscription. You don't need to update it. It's done automatically for you. So that's a bit of an obvious one, isn't it? Other things you can do. Let's squeeze one over here. Have you considered outsourcing? Now, I'll put in there a paraplanner. Now, IFAs use paraplanners. A paraplanner is a very qualified person who does an awful lot of the hard work for IFAs and wealth managers. Now, mortgage brokers can do the same. Whether you want to call her a paraplanner or call him a paraplanner is entirely up to you. But you can. But effectively, it's people doing some of the heavy lifting for you. They would be quite willing to do a lot of the keying in, a lot of the fact finding. Yes, you still take the advice risk. Of course you do. It's what you pay to do, aren't you? But there's nothing wrong with getting somebody like a paraplanner, an admin, somebody who works virtually. Don't have to be in office, by the way, who can actually help you and assist you. Make sure you train them properly. Get them on the exams and stuff. Of course you should do. You should train them properly as well. Expect them to be able to do more. And of course, eventually they might become mortgage brokers themselves. So it's definitely something to think about as well. Of course, you can outsource as much as you like. Good brokers outsource loads of things. So let's just squeeze this one down here, shall we? Outsource. Now, you should outsource anything that you're doing which costs less than your fee-based work. I'll rephrase that for you. If you're doing something in your business that costs £10 an hour to get somebody else to do it, then you shouldn't be doing that. You should be paying somebody £10 an hour to do it, or probably more actually, if truth be told. Your fee-based work is probably working in at 50, 60, 80, £100 an hour. I don't know what you charge, but that's the kind of rate that you should be earning on an hourly basis. You shouldn't be doing silly things at £10 an hour. You should outsource it. Get somebody to do it. You should use a company or a person or whatever it is. So outsource your marketing, outsource your client acquisition, your prospecting methods, outsource your social media. Get somebody to respond to all those inquiries on social media. Outsource your marketing, your content marketing. Get somebody to do your LinkedIn. All those things can be outsourced to businesses or people at a fraction of your hourly rate. And therefore, these things will stop you from overheating, which is really the message, isn't it? Last one, just a thought. If you find yourself doing presentations and client meetings and things, get yourself a studio sorted. Let's squeeze this one over here, shall we? Get yourself a video studio sorted. Now, I've got a video studio down here because this is my work. Get a little room where you have a fixed camera, fixed monitors, where you do your client meetings. You don't have to do them face-to-face. Completely utter waste of time. You're traveling 2 hours in the car, whatever it is, they're traveling to you. It's just wrong. You're using up carbon, you're killing the environment, everything just doesn't tick many boxes. But if you're going to do video meetings, do them properly. Get yourself some screens sorted, some proper cameras and audio, so that you're able to deal with people perfectly well. And the studio, of course, you can then go eventually for, these Oculus Rift, these three-dimensional stuff. They call it the metaverse, don't you? I don't know whether we really want to get involved in that area, metaverse itself, but that is an area where it will happen in the future. So get yourself a proper studio and encompass all the three-dimensional stuff, the artificial intelligence, all those things, and the metaverse and things, because that's quick and easy, isn't it? You can rock up and talk to people very, very quickly using that kind of stuff. And that's some ideas. I'm sure you've come across those before many times. Absolutely sure of that. But of course, it's a few ideas to give you to help you from preventing overheating. And that's the point, really. The overheating message is one that I've banged on about this afternoon. Again, Shelley and I went for a walk yesterday on Sunday. It was getting really hot, actually, quite warm. And we went through this little bit. We're in the Cotswolds, because it's beautiful up there, isn't it? And we walked from Chipping Campden, it was, in Cotswolds, out across the country to a little village outside. And there was a pub there. And I said to Shelley, I said, fancy a pint? And she wanted some ice cream. So we went into this pub and we had a order of a pint. And Shelley ordered the ice cream, which turned out to be like a pudding thing. So it had to be done via the kitchen. Anyway, we shuffled off to our table outside. I was drinking a pint, and they gave us a gadget, which is not rocket science. I'll share with you what the gadget looks like. Let's put a picture up for you. Can you see? There's a picture of me with my pint, as you can see. But can you see the gadget there? Nothing fancy. There's another picture of the gadget for you. Quite simply, what this gadget did is when the kitchen was ready for us to collect our order, this thing went beep, 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 and we walked to the kitchen serving area. We picked up our tray and walked to our table. Now, obviously, that saves that pub from having somebody employed to deliver the food to tables, which is enormously time consuming and people orientated. A simple gadget like that just saved the job. And Shelley got her ice cream and she was very pleased about that, which on the hot day, anybody would be, wouldn't it? I actually preferred the beer to the ice cream, but there we go. That's just the way I roll. Anyway, there's a story for you about Are You Overheating? Some key ideas there to help you move your business forward. Hope you enjoyed that one. Anyway, we're going to wrap up now because it's right to do so. Sorry about the 2-week delay, because the previous week I was at a conference. I was attending a CPD conference of my own, my professional body, the Professional Speaking Association, because I was awarded fellowship. I'm now a fellow. Jolly good, isn't it? I'm a fellow. Sounds dead posh. It's not really. But we had a day over in Malvern where we did some self-learning and stuff. So got to keep that axe sharpened, don't you? Sharpen the saw. So we're back on again for the next couple of weeks. Monday mornings, 12 noon, our live podcast or live stream for you to keep you up to date with all things. We've got a lot going on. We've got a new PDF starting. We've got a new bootcamp starting today as well. Lots of new mortgage and CMAP products, all up to date, by the way, for the new syllabus. So get onto our websites and you can fill your boots, as they say. Enough of that for me. Hope you have a fantastic week. Really have a great time this week. It's a little bit cooler, isn't it? I believe it's not as hot. And we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.